Okay, we're going to try that again. Welcome to the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy 2019. Oh wow, are you guys ready for a little rock and roll? So it's welcome back if you've already been with us for the Rookie World Championship, and if you've only joined us just now, it's time for the Big Boys Show.
Good show.
Yeah, we need some kind of whoa. Time for the Big Boy Show. And this big boy here, he's our expert for today. Say hello to Kalle. Maybe hello, Kalle. This is your crowd. This is your home nation. How excited are you to have the Champions Trophy in Sweden?
Yeah, it's really exciting, and it's nice crowd and nice weather and nice view, and it's gonna be an extraordinary competition.
So this is a premiere.
Hello everybody, welcome to Sweden. We are here in the Kungsbacka fjord area. This is a protected area. It's a wildlife reserve and we are on the grounds of the STIHL Castle, inspired by the Tudor architecture built between 1898 and 1904. It became a historic landmark in 1991 and today it becomes a history-making location for STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy as we get ready to rock and roll with our Champions Trophy event. This is for the big boys, and out comes the trophy that everybody is looking to try and capture today, being carried out by Spike Milton, our Director of Sport, the International Sports Director, and along with him is Dr. Jörg Kurzenberger and Andy Hall. They will be our on-stage referees during the competition. And you'll see those guys quite a lot during competition time. Some of the names that you want to be keeping a close eye on are one guy in particular, Lawrence O'Toole. He is the individual world champion from 2018. He won that in Liverpool, and he was absolutely fantastic there. Another name that you want to keep an eye on is Sterling Hart. He is the reigning Champions Trophy winner, and he will want to take that one back. And of course, Ferry Swan. All right, we're meeting our athletes right now, and there's the man I was just talking about a minute ago, Lawrence O'Toole. He is the reigning world champion, the Australian champion, the world individual champion, I should have said. He was also part of the world championship team, and he won the Australian Champions Trophy. This all in 1 year or 1 season. Question is, can he win this Champions Trophy here and make it the Magic 5? The big test is up. Next up, we're going to meet Armin Kugler from Austria. He has been in the mix for many, many years. He is a very solid competitor, and he goes from strength to strength. Let's see if Armin Kugler is going to do it this year. Is 2019 a year for Austria? We'll see. And next up from the Czech Republic, Martin Kalina. He got 3rd place.
Representing the Czech Republic, ladies and
Excuse me, 3rd place at the European Trophy 2018. He comes to the Champions Trophy as a couple of guys do from the Czech Republic. He'll be there with Martin Komarek. So Martin Kalina opting to get in the mix today here for the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy 2019. Next up, a man who's been around the sport of timber sports for a long time. He is one of the granddaddy caddies of STIHL Timbersports. He is one of the premier timber sports athletes from the Czech Republic, Martin Komarek. He got 3rd place in the individual world championship last year in Great Britain in Liverpool. And he is always smiling, always in a good mood, always willing to meet the fans up front, and always puts on a good show and a great competition on stage. Next up, from Great Britain, Elgin Pugh. This competition is a bit of a redemption competition for him at his home game in Liverpool. He managed to get 11th place overall. Not what he was expecting. He had some very good individual results, but the overall result wasn't in his favor. So here today may well be his chance to take the training and the time in the off season and put it to use in a good way here at the Champions Trophy. Next up, a man with an experienced arm when it comes to the axe. He is the German powerhouse and also the new face of German timber sports, Robert Ebner. He got 4th place in the Individual World Championships in 2018 in Liverpool. He's been steadily climbing the ranks. Next up, the big man from Italy. He's tall, he's rangy, he's got a lot of power, and if he puts it all together, he can be one of those guys to really put a dent in some of the hopes of the guys here to defend titles. Andrea Rossi from Italy. Next up, Jesse Whitehead from New Zealand. Keep an eye out for the axe speed from the New Zealand athletes. These guys, for some reason or another, have some of the fastest axes in the business. It's how they train, it's what they eat, it's the water. I don't know, who knows? But New Zealand, always a threat when it comes to Champions Trophy and World Championship status. Another powerhouse hitter. We watched him earlier on, or rather, he sat down earlier on and watched the rookies, and he enjoyed every minute of it sitting here. Michał Dubicki from Poland coming out now. He's been taking the season to get trained, get fit, get strong, and be ready to rock and roll here. Keep an eye out for him. Always a threat as well. In Liverpool last year, this man created a new world record for the standing block chop with a time of 11:03 from the USA, Matt Kogar.
Champions Trophy format definitely favors me.
Next up, he has the world record in springboard. He got that in 2016 in Stuttgart. He is the reigning Champions Trophy champion. He will want to keep that title because once you've got the trophy in your hand, you don't want to give it away. It is from Canada, Sterling Hart.
He is the man to beat. The winner of the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Champions Trophy 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is a machine. He is a monster. He is Mr. Sterling Hart from Canada.
Yeah, I'm really happy that the event is finally here and I can compete. I'm really proud of representing Sweden in this competition, this Champions Trophy, but it's also coming with a lot of pressure. And all the media wants to have you, but I can get motivation out of it instead, so I can focus on my thing that's all positive. I kind of get used to the media people now, so it's not that big deal, it's just they're there.
Really? You wanted it.
Lest we forget the local boy, the man the majority of the people in this crowd will be cheering for, from Sweden, Ferry Swan.
Ja, här kör vi ha med. Sista atleten, Ferry Swan.
Just the Swedish fans, here comes the outsider from Sweden, Mr. Ferry Swan! Ladies and gentlemen, all 12 athletes are up on stage. One more time, show your appreciation, make some noise for our athletes! Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you in just a few moments when we start the competition. Here they go, all 12 athletes, say goodbye, give them a big wave. They'll be back on stage competing in just a few moments.
All right, so here's how this is going to work here, folks. If you're just joining us, we are in Sweden for the 2019 STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy. Yesterday, we had a time trial where the top 4 athletes from that time trial go directly to the quarterfinal. Today, we'll start action off with the last chance qualifier. And then the winners from each of the last chance qualifiers goes to the quarterfinal. And now we see Ferry Swan on stage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in to our show, we are live from Gothenburg in Sweden at the end of the Kungsbacka Fjord next to the STIHL Castle. And it is a fantastic atmosphere here as you see a view of the trophy that our athletes will be fighting for today here at the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy 2019. And here's a little layout of how this works. This is a breakdown of what the racing is all about. It is head-to-head action, trying to get through all 4 of the disciplines as quickly as possible. And you can see here Sterling Hart showing his championship form. Moving from stock saw to underhand chop to the single buck, and then finally the standing block chop. Fastest time obviously is going to count, and Sterling Hart with 1-2 more blows here to give you an example of the time you need to have. There you see one Whitehead, Matt Kogar moving on to the next round. We will see him in the semis. A valiant effort by Jesse Whitehead, but he just fell behind as he turned over to the other side on the standing
Okay,
block
the
chop.
winner is Matt Kogar.
Getting our groove on up here in the box as the athletes leave the stage. We're going to take a quick look back at the highlights from that battle, and it was a good battle. Matt Kogar throwing down what he knew he had to do to get to the next round, probably saving a little bit of energy as well, because remember, this is an endurance sport at this point, with these guys having to work that exact set of circumstances 3 more times if they want to get there into the final. And you could see Jesse Whitehead came down off his block and then took the time to step back up, but it was already cut through, and that's where I believe he lost a lot of his time as we paid attention to Matt Kogar's action, and he got a little bit hooked up in that single buck, but there the final blow from Matt Kogar to block that thing down, and a great run from him, and a good job for Matt Kogar moving on to the next round. You can see those clouds in the background here in the fjord. Beautiful area, Kungsbacka Fjord. It's been amazing weather today, a little bit chilly, a little bit windy, but nobody notices that because it has been so incredible. The action here at the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy 2019 in Gothenburg, Sweden. So, and there go the flags here in our audience. Everybody having a good time, everybody enjoying themselves, and none more than the fans here locally who will want to see Ferry Swan do well in one heat's time as he goes up in heat number 3 of the quarterfinal against Mikkel Dubicki. Before that, though, our reigning champion Sterling Hart will be on stage with Armin Kugler, who came out of the last chance qualifier. Armin Kugler had a very good time, actually, in the last chance qualifier, 109.88. In fact, that was the best time of the last chance qualifier. And if we look at the time trial times, Sterling Hart had a 111.99. So if we go by times alone, Armin Kugler has the advantage here against Sterling Hart, but we know that Sterling Hart always has another gear or 2 saved up for just these circumstances. And we just saw the stats there on screen really briefly of Armin Kugler and Sterling Hart.
27 years old, Kugler, taking on 29-year-old Sterling Hart. It's Austria versus Canada. It's Austria versus
All right, getting ready. And again, those final preparations, Andy Hall checking the side of Sterling Hart to make sure that everything is copacetic. Sterling, final investigations, Armin Kugler as well, setting that 2-meter-long single buck saw down ever so gingerly. Difficult circumstances here for Armin Kugler as well. but he's a competitor and he knows exactly what he has
Okay,
to do
gentlemen.
in order to beat a guy like Sterling
Warm up
Hart.
your swords.
And now, those MS661 stars get started up. Sterling Hart used to say he was never a fan of the motor saw sport side of things, but has become very adept in the
Athletes,
last few
ready.
years because of training. Here we go.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Quick start by Sterling Hart. Armin Kugler lagging a little bit behind him. Sterling drops that first cookie cleanly and moves over to the underhand chop. Very good at this discipline, and Sterling Hart has obviously been working on that axe head speed because that thing is ripping. Moving over to the other side quickly. Sterling Hart already on the backside. Armin Kugler got caught up a little bit there. So did Sterling Hart, though. Armin Kugler trying to catch up now on the front side as Sterling pushes the final block over and moves over to the single buck. Oh, gets really hooked up there, getting that saw going. Now he's finally got that flow. Armin Kugler finally separates that underhand chop, but Sterling Hart's got a huge lead as he kicks some stuff out of the way there. Oh, and he's going to have a huge problem as one of those cookies rolled around right in front of where he's going to have to move around to the other side for the backside of this standing block chop. Armin Kugler playing catch up big time now as Sterling Hart had to move that cookie out of the way. Takes time to do that and has now started on the backside of this block. Armin Kugler coming from behind, but he's a strong man, may well do it. Is he going to catch up with Sterling Hart? No! Final blow for Sterling Hart was super clean, and he drops that block in 1:12.54. Not his best time, but it's a solid enough time to beat Armin Kugler, who gets a time of 1:18.83. Wow. A lot of drama in that. Tons of stuff lying in Sterling Hart's way. And he had to kick his headphones. He had to kick a pair of glasses out of the way. He had to kick this disc that he cut off of the single buck out of the way.
Okay, and the
when
winner
he went
is
over to
Sterling Hart.
start his standing block chop, and still manages to come through with a 1:12.24 against 1:18.50 from Armin Kugler. So we will be seeing Sterling Hart going up against Matt Kogar in the semifinal. That should be a fantastic matchup. Two very strong characters with different styles entirely when it comes to the underhand and especially to the single buck. I will give Matt Kogar the advantage on the single buck in that particular heat as we look back there. Sterling Hart right close to you. Armin Kugler on the far side of your screen. And Sterling moving over, and you can see just the concentration on his face with that single buck working that long saw as thoroughly and as efficiently as he possibly can. And here we go, the last couple of hits on the backside. There's that final clean blow. Very, very nice job by Sterling Hart. Armin Kugler wasn't that far behind. It only took a few more blows to catch up, but unfortunately for Armin, that's the end of his day, as Sterling Hart will be moving on to the semifinals. All right, so now this is one that everybody in the audience is really going to be on pins and needles about. This next heat coming up, Ferry Swan, the local favorite, and when he comes out, those flags are going to be waving in the air like crazy, I guarantee you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mikael Dubitsky, representing Poland, and Sweden's very own Ferry Swan.
All right, here they go. Mikael Dubicki coming up on the stage. A very, very strong competitor going up against Ferry Swan. Let's compare these sizes difference there. Look at this, 10 centimeters difference between the height of Mikkel Dubicki and the height of Ferry Swan. Weight difference as well, 84 kilograms to 115 kilograms. Michael Dubicki with the power advantage as well. But as I said, Ferry Swan is sinewy. He has got strength that's hidden inside his bones somehow. For a smaller man, he has a lot of power and a lot of speed. So that is going to be key here as Ferry sets everything for his single buck. Mikkel Dubicki doing the same thing. Andy Hall checking him. Dr. Jörg Kurzenberger on the far side, making sure that Ferry Swan's setup is all set as well. And there is Ferry Swan's mom. And we know who Ferry Swan's mom is going to be rooting for as she films the whole thing as well, documenting Ferry's career in timber sports.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your swords.
All right, let's see if Ferry Swan can get a fast start like he did in the earlier rounds here.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Very quick by Ferry to get up on top of that block. Mikkel Dubicki, no slouch, though. He's right there with him. Ferry, distinct advantage, and the crowd goes bananas as he moves over to the underhand chop ahead of Mikkel Dubicki. Mikkel Dubicki, a fast axe, though, as he is hammering away quickly. Ferry moving over to the other side. Mikkel Dubicki has caught up to Ferry Swan on the other side as well. Who will break through first? Mikkel Dubicki does it. Mikkel Dubicki moving over for Poland onto the single buck. He has to get that flow going. Ferry Swan, very clean start for him. So that may play well for him, catching up to Dubicki here on that single buck. Dubicki, Swan with a very clean cut on the single buck. Leads now over to the standing block chop. Dubicki right there with them though. Power to speed ratio is what it's all about now. Dubicki, Swan moving over to the other side. This is an intense competition between two intense competitors. Dubicki looking good, Swan looking very good. Dubicki, the powerhouse, is going to do it though. He's got that block down just ahead of Swan. Oh! And Swan just a couple of seconds later. Dubicki with a 109.75, Swan with a 113.21. And that is really unfortunate for the young Swede as he gets eliminated from competition by the experienced Polish athlete Mikkel Dubicki, who will move on to the semifinals. Wow, what an intense heat that was. So close, right up to the very end. The advantage started with Ferry Swan.
Okay, and the winner is
moved over to
Mikkel Dubicki.
And then it was a tie game, basically, at the standing block chop with Mikkel Dubicki's power just playing the key role here for the win.
Come on, everybody, join in! What a great performer! And you can keep on clapping for Ferry Swan, come on!
All right, looking back at the replay here, this is a great start by Ferry Swan on the single or this stock saw, and he actually dropped that cookie quite well ahead of Mikkel Dubicki. And here we see Mikkel Dubicki actually got through that block faster than Ferry did and moved over to the single buck. And then on the single buck, you could see the tension in Ferry's mom's face. On the single buck, Ferry had a better and cleaner start, and he got through this faster and was over to the standing block quicker than Dubicki, but Dubicki got there, and they both started the single buck at the same time, more or less. And it was just the power from Mikkel Dubicki that got him through. And we're going to hear from Ferry Swan, who is unfortunately eliminated in today's action.
If you look at those pictures, it must have been absolutely amazing. What a great start and such a close finish. From your point of view, short recap.
Yeah, it was a really amazing race. I was 2 hits behind the third guy off place. Really happy with that.
You can be very proud, but there was a chance of winning this. So what are you going to take with you for the next competition?
I'm going to be a little bit calmer next year so I don't stress so much. And I can be...
You look pretty calm to me, and everybody behind you, they were cheering you on. So this is your chance to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much for your support. And when are we going to see you next?
Next time is we have Swedish Cup, so that's it.
And let's not only forget, it's not only the Swedish Cup, but the World Championships are going to be in Sweden next year. And I'm sure this guy is going to compete, and we hope you're going to support him. So see you there at the latest. Thanks so much.
All right, next heat coming out onto the blocks, and we are getting ready for the last heat in this quarterfinal. Lawrence O'Toole, the reigning individual world champion, going up against Robert Ebner from Germany. Lawrence O'Toole would love to take home the CT trophy. That would mean the Magic 5 would be his in one season. A feat never done by an Australian timber sports athlete in the history of the sport, and perhaps even in the history of any country. So I'll have to double check that and just confirm it, but nevertheless, it would be an incredible feat by Lawrence O'Toole, who has thankfully lost that mustache that he had last year. We know it was for a good cause. Nevertheless, they were horrendous.
This is the final heat of our quarterfinals. Who can make it to the last position in the semi-finals? Will it be Lawrence O'Toole from Australia or Robert Ebner from Germany? This is the final.
All right, so sometimes it comes down to a little bit of luck, but you know what they say, you got to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good. And that is exactly what Robert Ebner, who is on screen right there, is going to need going up against a guy like Lawrence O'Toole.
Okay, gentlemen.
He has the skills. He knows he can keep
Warm up
up.
your swords.
He's going to need a little bit of luck here. He's in a battle for position in the semifinal. Here we go.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Very good start by both. Lawrence O'Toole having a clean cut there so far, and both of them dropped that cookie evenly, but Robert Ebner is over to the underhand chop a little bit faster than Lawrence O'Toole. Lawrence's first hit slabs out a big one, and he got through very quickly on the first side, and he moves over just slightly after Robert Ebner to side number 2, trying to dig through that block and break it through quickly, and he does. Lawrence now moving over to the single buck. He is a very tall man, but so is Ebner. Let's see if Ebner can manage to catch up with Lawrence O'Toole here, who's got a good lead in single buck. It's going to come down to that standing block chop. Lawrence O'Toole is very strong in this discipline. Ebner coming in a little bit behind. He's about 2-3 hits back of Lawrence O'Toole on standing block. Will it be the Australian or the German going through to the semifinal? Lawrence will definitely like to have that and a chance to make the 5 happen in this year. Oh, wow! Great time at 103.14 for Lawrence O'Toole, who gets through cleanly. Robert Ebner, 108.35. Both great times. Ebner satisfied with the time, but he knows he's not going to be moving on to the semifinal. That honor is going to Lawrence O'Toole from Australia. Wow, getting down to the wire on that one. It was very, very close for both of these guys until the single buck. Single buck was the tell right there.
Okay, and the winner is
to it,
Lawrence O'Toole.
Faster through it. All right, so that is quarterfinal action done and dusted. That means we're moving on to the semifinals here. And let's look at the lineup of the semifinals. In heat number 1, it's going to be Matt Kogar going up against Sterling Hart. This is a battle that we've seen before. And then Mikael Dubicki and Lawrence O'Toole. Lawrence O'Toole has shown that he is so incredibly strong. Mikael Dubicki is no slouch at all. And if we look back at the time that Mikael Dubicki had in the previous heat here, he was a 109.63 compared to Lawrence O'Toole's quarterfinal heat with a 102.87. Wow, that's a difference right there. Lawrence O'Toole was very quick.
Ja, vi hittar en annan hugg i andra änden där. Vilken kraft de får med sig in i alla slagarna.
I got to stand up now. This action is getting a little bit too intense to be sitting on my butt. As we look back at the highlights from that last heat, look at this. Stroke for stroke, it was just Lawrence O'Toole started a bit earlier and got through there about a tenth of a second to a half a second earlier than Robert Abner, and then that last blow by O'Toole, just a big power stroke to drop the block off the top of the standing block there. And Robert Abner had 2-3 more strokes to get through, and that's basically what he was behind. So you could see their pace was more or less even with each other. It's just Lawrence O'Toole had the advantage at that single buck. So there we see the quarterfinal lineup moving over to the semifinal. It's going to be Kogar against Hart, Sterling Hart and Matt Kogar, and then Mikael Dubicki and Lawrence O'Toole in semifinal number 2. Crane pan over the crowd as they enjoy the music being played by our DJ here. Stage crew working hard up on stage to get everything clean and ready to go for the semifinal. Once again, semifinal athletes are Matt Kogar against Sterling Hart in heat number 1 of the semifinal. And then it's going to be Mikael Dubicki from Poland going up against Lawrence O'Toole in heat number 2. But here comes our first heat, Sterling Hart and Matt Kogar. I don't know who would be more nervous in this one, Sterling or Matt. I think I'm more nervous than either of those guys, as they are both professionals. They are both well aware of what needs to be done on stage. Sterling Hart occupying stage right this time. He had stage left last time. Stage right has been favorable to him in the past. He won in Marseille from stage right. Can he do it again from that same spot? The only advantage I can see right now for Sterling Hart is that he is the reigning champion, the reigning Champions Trophy champion, and that has got to be in Matt Kogar's head a little bit, knowing that he's going up against a guy, who has that pedigree and wants to have it again. Let's compare some times here between Matt Kogar, who had a 109, and Sterling Hart had a 112.24. Moving on to the time trial look back, Sterling Hart with a 111.99, Matt Kogar with a 101.95. I think the advantage in this case would definitely go to Matt Kogar.
Okay, gentlemen,
for the overall time.
Warm up yourselves.
Like I said, Sterling Hart very often finds a second and third gear that he needs in order to get going, and often that's just a straight up adrenaline speaking. But as a professional athlete, it's about controlling that adrenaline and using it to your advantage.
Athletes,
here we
ready.
Go. Semifinal number 1.
To your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, a bit of a shaky start there by Sterling Hart as he kind of hopped getting into the wood, but both of those blocks go down exactly at the same time. 2 discs rolling away easily. Sterling Hart and Matt Kogar hammering away on the underhand chop now. Sterling Hart putting it all in there as they both switch to the other side at the same time. Matt Kogar's got a lot of power. Sterling Hart a little bobble there as he gets the axe stuck, and Matt Kogar has the advantage now going over to the single buck. Sterling Hart right on his tail though. Sterling's very good in this discipline, but Matt Kogar, Matt Kogar bows the ball a little bit and slows himself down, and then Sterling Hart does the same thing. Sterling gets through, and now Matt gets through, and they're both onto the standing block chop. A little stick by Matt Kogar. Sterling Hart's looking solid now. This is going to be down to the wire as Matt Kogar moves to the other side ahead of Sterling Hart. I think Sterling probably put a deeper pocket on the backside, and it's all about the power hits now, and it's Matt Kogar going on to the final against Sterling Hart there, who just got the axe caught a couple of times too many in that standing block chop, and there's a disappointed couple of final blows by Sterling Hart. Matt Kogar wins this one with a time of 101 dead even. Wow. What an incredible time by Matt Kogar. Sterling Hart with 4 more hits to drop the block gets a time of 110.40, and that is a personal best for Matt Kogar, by the way. Amazing heat, and it was right down to the wire. It was just a couple of sticky axe heads in that standing block
and the winner
that made
is
the difference for Sterling
Matt
Hart.
Kogar.
And there you go. Matt Kogar is moving on to the final. Who will it be against is the big question. Sterling Hart will still have one more battle to fight when he goes into the small final or consolation final to see if he will make 3rd or 4th place in this competition. But big congratulations go out to Matt Kogar. He had a fantastic battle there, absolutely dominating in those standing block chop hits. So solid. It was a great heat, and like I said, right down to the wire. Wow. Look at that. Just head-to-head action right there. As we see Sterling swing that axe through with a bullet, and here at the very end you'll see that big single buck bow, and it's where he got caught. But the same thing happened to Matt Kogar, and it was here in these last couple of bows. Matt just had the power. He moved over to the backside before Sterling Hart did, and that was the difference maker right there. 4 hits away is all it would have taken, and it might have been a different battle, but Matt Kogar moving on to the final.
That means that very soon we're going to see the 2nd semi-final, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to be the fight for gold? We will find out in just a few moments.
All right, here we go. Lawrence O'Toole against Mikkel Dubicki from Poland. Mikkel Dubicki wasting no time in getting up onto that stage as he wants to be ready to take on a man that has shown incredible stamina, incredible talent, incredible skill, incredible power in the last couple of years. Lawrence O'Toole, your reigning individual world champion, also a member of the team world championship team from last year in Liverpool, Great Britain. And Mikkel Dubicki knows that. He knows he has got a battle on his hands, but he also knows he's got power and he's got the skills. So let's see if he can take down the king tonight. Or will it be Lawrence O'Toole moving to the final and perhaps getting the magic 5 in one season? Let's see.
Are you ready for the 2nd semi-final?
Couple of test runs for Mikkel Dubicki.
Okay, gentlemen.
From the stock saw over to
Warm up your
underhand saw.
saws.
And let's see. Here we go. Saws are warmed up now.
Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by Mikko Dubicki on that stock saw. Very nice. Oh my goodness, excuse me. I almost called Lawrence O'Toole Sterling Hart, but he was so quick there that he caught up with Mikko Dubicki. Mikko Dubicki fast on the axe. Great power from both of these gentlemen. Dubicki moving over to the other side just ahead of Lawrence O'Toole. And Lawrence O'Toole through the block and moving over to the single buck. And he's struggling to get that single buck started. Mikko Dubicki on it quickly and smoothly though. And Dubicki, fast long strokes. Huge catch up for Lawrence O'Toole. He's in a bit of trouble now on that single buck. And it's Mikko Dubicki who is going to get through the single buck faster, and now Lawrence O'Toole finally gets through and moves over to the standing block chop. So this is a head-to-head battle on standing block. Mikko Dubicki, Lawrence O'Toole, who's it going to be? Who moves over to the other side first? They both go at the same time. Dubicki, O'Toole, O'Toole, Dubicki. Wow, look at this. Oh, huge final blow for O'Toole, blocks it off in 104.19. Dubicki in 107.07. So close. And Dubicki was almost there. It was one hit away, the difference between those two guys. And it was Lawrence O'Toole getting the win on this one. Needs to be confirmed by Andy Hall. Looks like everything is good, though.
Okay, and the winner is Lawrence O'Toole.
So Lawrence O'Toole will have an opportunity to have the Fab Five, the Magic Five, the big handful of wins in one season, because he is moving on to the final. So we still have our consolation final to go before the final. The consolation final is to determine who will take third and fourth places. And in the consolation final, it's going to be Sterling Hart going up against Mikko Dubicki. Love this format so much. It's so much fun to watch, and it is exciting.
Lawrence O'Toole races to the gold medal heats. Of course, it's Mikko Dubicki.
And looking back here, bit of a shaky start on that stock saw by Lawrence O'Toole. Mikko Dubicki was just a little bit cleaner on the start, but Lawrence O'Toole was faster through the cut. And here on the underhand, Lawrence O'Toole got through there just ahead of Dubicki, but then there were tons of problems on that single buck for O'Toole. And he's going to take that back and think about how he can adjust his technique just slightly so that he has a clean run in the final. And that is going to be important for him to really think about that. And then you could see there's Lawrence O'Toole taking the top of that block off, and just one more hit for Dubicki and he would have been there. But as it stands, Lawrence O'Toole is in the final, and Mikko Dubicki will have to battle it out in the consolation final to see who is taking on third and fourth places in the overall competition here today. No repeat for Sterling Hart. He'll be battling it out in the consolation or small final against Mikko Dubicki. And you can see it's going to be Matt Kogar against Lawrence O'Toole in the big final. All right, one more time, we're going to take a look at this competition wood and how it is produced for these events. right, so just so that you're aware, we are sustaining our situation here and not wasting this wood. So after the competition, this wood is recycled and reused. So STIHL doing their part to make sure that these competitions are also not wasteful. And we can see here just a fantastic atmosphere in Gothenburg as we get ready for the Consolation Final and the main event, the big final. Consolation Final again will be Sterling Hart going up against Mikko Dubicki. And once again, just a reminder, this is the original Extreme Sports. And you can see on stage there, the only thing remaining on stage is the two stock saws, as the crew will get out there and set up the rest of the things needed on stage for this Consolation Final. And the Consolation Final will be determining places 3 and 4 in the overall competition rankings. All right, just a quick update. We've just had a bit of information thrown our way that Mikko Dubicki injured his leg in the last heat, so he will not be competing against Sterling Hart in the small final. So the 3rd and 4th position rankings will be based on their times from earlier on. We'll inform you of who takes 3rd and who takes 4th a bit afterwards, but what will happen is the stage will be set up for our main final first. So that's why the wood has to be picked out, because each competitor picks their wood in a lottery, and the plan was to have Sterling Hart's and Mikko Dubicki's wood out there first, but as it stands, we have to have now the wood for Lawrence O'Toole and Matt Kogar set out onto the stage. So our incredible stage crew will take care of that and get it set up for our final here in Gothenburg for the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy Final coming up shortly. So just a little bit of further information. It turns out that Mikko Dubicki has torn a muscle in his leg somehow. It could be from jumping from one part of the competition to the other. It happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to other people. It just makes it really, really difficult or impossible to properly perform, and there's no point in further injuring the situation. So therefore, Mikko Dubicki has opted out of this Consolation Final to make sure that he can take care of that leg and come back healthy next time around, which means we move directly to the main event between Matt Kogar and Lawrence O'Toole. So once again, there's an opportunity here for Lawrence O'Toole to get the handful of competition wins in one season. He already has the World Individual Championship. He has the Team World Championship. He is the Australian champ, and he is the Australian Champions Trophy champion. So if he can get the Champions Trophy here today, that would be the Magic 5. Never done by a competitor from Australia before, and I believe it's never been done by any competitor. That I will double check and try and inform you about that a little bit later on as well. In the meantime, stage appears to be set for our final. We just have to bring out our two athletes and let them do what they do best. All right, so getting ready for the final. It is going to be an intense competition. And if you look closely at your screen there, in between those two glass partitions at the back of the stage, that is the trophy. It's very far away, but we're going to have a quick look at those athletes and a little look at that trophy before we get things going as our helicopter hovers above and our audience waves hello to the flying machine.
Beautiful, keep it going, come on, wave your flag. This is live out to the world.
Everybody wants to be on TV, and there goes our helicopter talking about that trophy once again.
Great job, Gotham Bag.
It is always made for the event location, and let's have a look at it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of intensity walking by us right now. Matt Kogar coming out first, Lawrence O'Toole following closely behind him. Very, very big moment for both of these gentlemen. For Matt Kogar, it would be a major win for the young man from North America, age 32, 111 kilos, 191 centimeters. Lawrence O'Toole, 38 years old, 94 kilograms, 195 centimeters tall.
This is the moment we've all been waiting
I would say that these two are very evenly matched out in their abilities. They have very similar styles when it comes to how they swing the axe and how they work the long single buck saw, and the intensity is only going to ramp up coming up to that point where the whistle blows and the competition begins. Lawrence O'Toole could have the Magic 5 if he wins here today. Or will Matt Kogar steal it from him? The one thing that's going to be popping around in Lawrence O'Toole's head right now is how to keep that single buck straight and true through that log. He had problems with it in the previous heat. And he
Okay,
still managed
gentlemen.
to win. If he could be solid
Warm up
and
your
clean with it this
swords.
time, he may well walk away with it. But Matt Kogar is no slouch, and he's going to be focusing hard on trying to take down the big Australian. Saws are warm, audience is hyped up, the lights are on, the wind is blowing. Here
Athletes,
we go.
ready!
Timbersports Champions Trophy final right now.
3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by both of our athletes on this stock saw. It looked like there might be a slight advantage for Kogar, and he does have it ever so slightly, moving to the underhand chop. Big slab comes off of Kogar's block there. Lawrence O'Toole working the axe quickly. Kogar over to the other side, gets his axe caught up. O'Toole, same thing, now moving quickly to try and break through, and it looks like it's going to be Kogar getting through first, heading over to the single buck. O'Toole's got a big problem here if he has that thing bending at all in this start, and it's the same problem he had before. It's a bad start for O'Toole, and now Kogar gets his axe bowed and stuck. O'Toole trying to play catch up. Kogar gets stuck. O'Toole's going to get through quickly though, and now almost dead even at the standing block chop. Who's got the chops to get through that block first? O'Toole or Kogar? Kogar moving over to the other side. O'Toole leisurely onto the other side. Boy, it's going to come down to the wire here. It looks like it might be Matt Kogar by a landslide. Matt Kogar wins the Champions Trophy 2019 here in Sweden. And Lawrence O'Toole, a fantastic season, just wasn't fast enough, and he will not walk away with the handful. The Magic 5 don't belong to him, and that is too bad, but it is an amazing win for Matt Kogar, who points to the sky in thanks and deference. Oh my goodness, what a race that was, with a couple of big hang-ups.
Okay, and the winner is
single bucks.
Matt Kogar!
And it is official from Andy Hall. The winner here is Matt Kogar, your new Champions Trophy champion. He will take away that specially made trophy back to the United States, and he can be proud of an absolutely fantastic performance today. Just so that you're aware, his time 103.69 against Lawrence O'Toole's 105.22. Very solid times for both of these gentlemen, and a fantastic finish to the Champions Trophy here in Gothenburg. Let's look at this again. Lawrence O'Toole gets a pretty good start, bounced that saw at the top lightly, but no big deal. But it was Matt Kogar who got through a bit faster, and then on the underhand chop, Matt managed to get through that block before Lawrence O'Toole did. But it's here again. Lawrence O'Toole struggling with the start, but then Matt got his saw caught and bowed up, and Lawrence O'Toole had the opportunity to catch up with Matt Kogar. And then it was just on to the standing block chop. O'Toole was just a little bit behind, 1 or 2 strokes, I believe. And there you see that final blow from Matt Kogar, and then the final blow, 1 stroke behind Matt Kogar. Just 1 single stroke was the difference maker for Lawrence O'Toole there, but Matt Kogar took it home this time. There will be other competitions. There will be other battles. It was a fantastic STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy here. Fantastic, absolutely unbelievable, and we are down with our winner on stage right now, Matt Kogar.
Here is the man of the moment, ladies and gentlemen, the champion. He's still breathing heavily, but what a fight.
I do believe there was a little bit of emotion coming from Matt Kogar there, and so should there be. That was a fantastic win by him. Man, what a battle. Matt Kogar, Lawrence O'Toole going down to the wire. Sterling Hart will take third place here today because he had better times earlier on in the day against Michael Dubicki. Michael Dubicki, unfortunately, a muscle tear in his leg prevented him from competing in the consolation final, but he will have fourth place overall. And you can see there the rest of the guys who battled hard today, really pushing it down to the wire in every sense of the word. But Matt Kogar is the man of the hour. Absolutely correct. Great support from the audience. It was another outstanding STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy at another outstanding location here in Sweden. Just amazing. They get better and better from year to year, and the quality of the athletes competing at these events also just raises the bar every single time they get out on stage to compete against each other. And you can tell that the popularity of timber sports has never been higher than in 2019. I can only imagine what 2020 is going to look like. Let's not forget we have the World Championship in Prague this year, and then in 2020 back in Sweden for another World Championship. Lots of stuff going on with STIHL Timbersports, so make sure you stay apprised on all that is happening in the world of timber sports. And here they come. The guys are coming back out onto the stage. There's Robert Ebner, Armin Kugler, Klima, Komarek, Whitehead, Andrea Rossi, just passing our position, heading out onto the stage now. Martin, Kalina, Martin Komarek, two Martins going there, both for the Czech Republic. And a couple of champions walking by here. Lawrence O'Toole, Matt Kogar, Sterling Hart, Elgin Pugh, Ferry Svan, Mikkel Dubicki. 12 incredible timber sports athletes, making it a memorable weekend here in Sweden for a fantastic event.
We have heard 9 names of our competitors. 3 are still to come. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to award the bronze medal. Please welcome Wolfgang.
All right, taking third place here today by virtue of a great time earlier on during the action. He isn't the champion again, but he's got one, and he's taking the bronze here today from Canada, Sterling Hart.
Sterling Hart! As we move on to the
All right, second place, taking the silver medal. He so wanted to have that gold. He so wanted to have that magic 5, but this time it wasn't going to happen. Still a fantastic performance, and it's Lawrence O'Toole in second place with the silver medal.
And now it's time for the gold medal.
All right, top spot, a man so deserving of that position, the way he battled, the way he cut, the way he was all day long. Fitness was there, the endurance was there. It is your winner here of the 2019 STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy. The new champion is Matt Kogar from the United States of America.
now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the Champions Trophy ring. Everybody make some noise for the presentation of the unbelievable Champions Trophy ring that will hopefully fit onto his finger. Here comes the ring.
And has become tradition to receive the Champions Trophy ring. Look at that. Beautiful. And let's see if it fits on his finger. It does, just. There you go. The proud owner of the new Champions Trophy ring, your champion, Matt Kogar. And he'll have to take that massive trophy with him as well. What a fantastic day for him. So deserving of the win with the way he battled through. A good job by all. Matt Kogar on top of the podium. Lawrence O'Toole, a very close second place. And Sterling Hart, who I actually think I saw share that medal with Mikko Dubicki because they didn't have their final, or rather their consolation final. And now we're going to run the champagne shower, which has become such an interesting tradition over the last few years. Can they open the bottle? Can't they? We'll see. And no problem, they pop the corks all around. And that is a champagne shower to beat all champagne showers, and nobody's going to be complaining about wasted bubbly there. No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the show here today. It was one epic adventure from beginning to end, with a new champion being crowned, Matt Kogar. It was a good one. It was a fun one. And now it's a done one. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Take care. Until next time. Ciao.